Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking into the disappearance of Dorothy Freeman. And I'm going to start out with a newspaper article, and you can see where I searched for it. And it was actually a free search. And it says, Dorothy Freeman still missing after 3 years. From Great Falls Tribune, Labor Day 1970, Dorothy Geneva Grasdock Freeman, a 26-year-old University of Montana student teacher, climbed into her automobile outside her apartment and drove into obscurity. She was to report to Hamilton the next morning for a teaching job, but she never arrived. Some say she was seen that next afternoon at a Wisdom Cafe 74 miles southeast of Hamilton. Others report she was spotted the following day in a cafe at Wise River east of Wisdom, and again later that day back in the Wisdom area. A heavy equipment operator in Beaverhead County said he observed Mrs. Freeman driving along Montana Highway 43 between Wisdom and Wise River. If it was Mrs. Freeman, it was the last she would ever be seen. The 39 miles of paved road connecting Wisdom with Wise River is not a widely traveled highway. The lonely asphalt stretch sidesteps the Big Horn River and is bordered by the Beaverhead National Forest and the Anaconda-Pintlar wilderness area. Despite a ground and air search by authorities and a nationwide police teletype alert, no trace of the woman. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Or her automobile was found. The mysterious disappearance has taken its toll on Mrs. Freeman's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Herman Grasdock of Fairfield. Her father spent his weekends driving the back roads in the Hamilton, Wisdom, and Wise River area. He also hired a helicopter and searched the Skalkaho Pass area between Hamilton and Anaconda. For Grasdock, the search ended in August 1972 when he suffered a stroke, which physicians believe was induced by worry. Now 74 and paralyzed, he is confined to the Teton County Nursing Home in Chateau. It's all kind of odd, said Mrs. Grasdock Monday. With all these kidnappings going on, you kind of wonder if that's what happened. Vera Grasdock, sister-in-law of Mrs. Freeman, said she didn't believe the woman was capable of disappearing without notifying the family. We thought at first she might have just gone off to be by herself, she said, but after 3 years we don't think so. She described her sister-in-law as a quiet, reserved woman who decided to go to college in 1968 after learning her husband, stationed with the Air Force in Thailand, wanted a divorce. She was concerned about her divorce and several other things, Mrs. Grasdock said, but she wasn't the type of person to just take off and never let us know. Mrs. Freeman is described as 5'8", 150 pounds, with fair skin, blue eyes, and brown hair. At the time of her disappearance, she was driving a 1960 Fairlane 504 four-door sedan with Montana license number 31-315 and identification serial number OP42X128923. Everybody would like to know what happened to Dorothy, said Mrs. Grasdock. If we just knew one way or the other, it would relieve a lot of tension and worry. We still hope that someday something will turn up, one way or the other. I believe that's the end of it. Yep. And this is on Reddit. This says Dorothy Geneva Freeman missing from Missoula. University of Montana student Dorothy Geneva Freeman, née Grasdock, was last seen leaving her apartment in Missoula on September 17, 1970. She left at 9:30 in the morning so she could arrive at her student teaching job 50 miles away. Neither Dorothy nor her car had ever been seen again. The family does not believe she left on her own. Dorothy left money behind in her bank accounts and food in her freezer. She divorced in 1869. Her ex-husband was serving abroad in the Air Force at the time of the disappearance. There was possibly sighting of Dorothy by heavy equipment operator on Montana Highway 43. There were possible sightings of Dorothy in Wisdom and Wise River, Montana. Her father spent the rest of his life searching for his missing daughter, but you can tell by the article that I just read that he ended up being paralyzed, so he ended up in the nursing home. So we're just going to move on. You can pause that, go back and pause it if you want to read it. Dorothy Geneva Freeman, September 7th, 1970, Missoula, Montana, 26 years old, born June 22nd, 1944, 5 foot 8, 140 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Was last seen in Missoula, Montana, September 7th, 1970. She left her apartment in Missoula at 9:30 p.m. Was it p.m.? En route to her student teaching job 50 miles away in Hamilton, but never arrived. Would you be leaving at 9:30 p.m.? This is 9:30 in the morning, and I would think it would be in the morning, but now I'm confused. She was driving a green and white 1964 Fairlane with Montana license plate number 31-315. It's never been recovered. She's never been heard from again. There's no indication she left of her own accord. She left money back behind in 3 bank accounts and meat stored in her meat locker. Her family describes her as responsible, deeply religious, and wouldn't have left without warning. So this is pretty much the same information, and here's a picture of her. September 7th, 1970, age 26. See, there's no way of knowing if she was in her car, if she got in an accident and went off the road, or if somebody kidnapped her and took her to one of those camping spots, because, you know, with all those camping spots, nobody would even know. But if she went off one of those cliffs or one of those roads, they may not ever find her car either. So, who knows what happened to her, because there's just no information right now. She was last seen around, this is 21:30 hours, which would have been 9:30 at night when she left en route to her student teaching job. So 9:30 at night, it would be hard to see. If she swerved to miss a deer or some kind of an animal, she could have easily went off a cliff, depending on where she was driving and what the roads were like. If she was actually on those back roads, if it was cliffs, I don't know. So it could have just been an accident. Anyway, if you have any information, please contact authorities. I feel like people drink and talk, people tell their friends and their family information, and that people have information that they hold on to. So if you have any information, please contact authorities and let them know, maybe to help solve the case. Feel free to leave comments. Don't forget to pray for family and loved ones, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.